Have you ever stumbled across something so bold, so outrageous, that it makes you stop and think, what if it's actually true? That's exactly what happened when I first heard about the so-called 1000x wealth formula. They said it could multiply your wealth faster than any budgeting app, savings plan, or investment hack I've ever seen. I thought it was a scam. I was skeptical, too. But then I tried it. And what happened next? Completely changed the way I think about money forever. Before we dive into the results, you need to understand something most people completely miss. Wealth is not built with money. It's built with behavior. And the 1000x formula? It wasn't some magic stock or crypto scheme. It was a set of simple, deeply psychological steps that flipped the script on how I earn, save, and think. And once I followed it, things started to happen. Fast. But let's back up. When I first came across this formula, it wasn't in some flashy YouTube ad. It was buried in an obscure finance podcast that barely had any views. One of the hosts said this line: "Most people will never be rich because they're too busy managing pennies instead of multiplying dollars." That hit me like a brick. The formula itself? It has 3 core parts. And I'll break down each one, not just what I did, but how it felt, and the exact results I got. Let's start with the first rule of the 1000x wealth formula: only solve problems that scale. That's right. Most of us are obsessed with saving $5 here, $12 there, using coupons, hunting deals. And while there's nothing wrong with that, the formula forced me to ask myself one terrifying question: if I keep doing this for the next 10 years, will I get rich, or just tired? So I shifted. I stopped spending hours adjusting my monthly grocery budget and instead started thinking, what skill or system can I build once that earns forever? That was my first mind shift. I started building a digital product, something that took time upfront but could scale without my effort. I also asked, can I monetize my skills, not just my time? But here's where it gets interesting. The second rule of the 1000x wealth formula says, automate everything emotional. That one broke me. I realized I was making financial decisions based on stress, shame, guilt, emotions I didn't even notice. I was avoiding my credit card balance. I was saving out of fear, not vision. So, I automated everything: savings, investments, even bill payments. My bank accounts became quiet workers in the background. One night, I looked at my checking account and realized it hadn't changed much, but my savings had quietly grown by over $1,000 without me touching it. That moment? That was power. Not because I saved money, but because I wasn't emotionally hijacking myself anymore. Now let's talk about the third part of the formula. And this one might shock you. Think 10 years ahead, and act like you already got there. When I applied this principle, I stopped asking, can I afford this? And started asking, would future me even care about this? I stopped upgrading tech every year. I stopped chasing every new side hustle trend. I picked one strategy, and I committed. For me, that meant setting a 10-year goal to reach $500,000 in net worth, and reverse engineering every move from there. I created a system where my money had one job: to fund that future. And guess what happened? I started spending less, not because I had to, but because I was finally motivated by something bigger than impulse. But here's where the twist came. About 90 days in, something unexpected happened. Not only was my net worth growing, but my stress was shrinking. I felt in control. I felt calm. And that's when I realized the hidden truth behind the 1000x formula. It's not about getting rich fast. It's about thinking rich now, and letting your behavior catch up. So how did it all work out? Here are the exact numbers from my journey. I increased my savings rate from 12% to 43%. I generated my first $3,200 in digital income. My credit card debt dropped by 60%. I slept better, ate better, and finally, stopped feeling like a failure around money. And the funny part? My actual income didn't increase during that time. But my mental wealth skyrocketed. Now let's be real. Was it all perfect? No. I still slipped up. I still impulse bought a stupid gadget I didn't need. I still felt panic when the market dropped. But I kept going. Because once you taste calm money, you can't go back to chaos. So now, let me ask you. What if the reason you're stuck isn't because you're lazy or undisciplined, but because you're solving problems that don't scale? What if you're emotionally managing your money instead of systematizing it? What if your future self is already wealthy, and they're just waiting for you to act like it? The 1000x wealth formula didn't change my life overnight. It wasn't sexy. It didn't go viral. But it worked. Quietly. Consistently. And in a way no budgeting app or TikTok guru ever did. So, what actually happened when I tried the 1000x wealth formula? I stopped surviving money, and started mastering it. I realized that building wealth isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. Fewer decisions. More automation. Long-term thinking. And daily actions that quietly, steadily, build something that lasts. If you made it this far, you've already proven you think differently than most. Now the question is, are you willing to act differently too? Because your 1000x life? It's not just possible. It's waiting.